What's up everybody, I'm Guy, and today we're going to take a look at some of the new releases from the Watches and Wonders show. Specifically, we're going to check out the Rolex models that they've announced, and of course, Tudor as well. So let's jump into it, let's take a look at those watches, and I'll let you know what I think about them. Alright guys, so first up from Rolex, we have the 36mm Explorer. I am so happy to see this watch being released. And actually, I don't know if some of you will remember this, but I called this watch probably, I don't know, 6 months ago, 8, 9, 10 months ago. I don't remember exactly, but it was a while back I called it. And how did I call it? Well, I don't know if you remember this, but last year they quietly discontinued the 369 blue dial of the 36mm Oyster Perpetual. And I thought to myself, why would they get rid of this 369 dialed Oyster Perpetual 36mm watch? Doesn't really conflict with anything else. Well, it's because I thought they were planning for the future. I thought that they were planning to bring back a 36mm dial Explorer, and sure enough, that's what they've done. Now, we have two versions of it at the launch here. We have one in stainless steel, which is the one that I am going to definitely be going after. And then they have a two-tone steel and gold model, which doesn't personally appeal to me too much, but I suppose there might be some guys out there that are interested in that watch. The probably biggest thing, aside from the fact that it's no longer 39mm, is the new movement. It's a 3230 movement, and of course we would have expected that. Pretty much all Rolex watches are going to be, if they haven't already have been done, moved over to a 3200 series movement. So yeah, that's awesome. Quick few notes about this watch that I kind of recognized right off the bat. First of all, I love the size and I love the scale. The 36mm, again, super excited about that. But if you look at the dial text, specifically up at the top of the dial, you've got the crown, you've got the, the Rolex logo, and then underneath that it says Explorer. Then at the bottom of the dial you have some more text. That text up at the top, it does look a little bit crowded. They used to, a long time ago in the past on their 36mm Explorers, put the Explorer text down underneath on the 6 o'clock side of the dial. I think that would have been the right call there. I think that it does look a little bit too crowded with the crown, the Rolex logo, and Explorer all up there at the top, but it's a minor thing. It's certainly not gonna deter me from trying to get my hands on one eventually. The other minor gripe that I have about this, and this is a gripe that I have about most Rolex watches, the Easy Link extension. I'm just not a big fan of that, I don't know, quote-unquote tool. Yeah, it does 5mm of adjustment, not really that helpful for me. I like the glide lock system on the Submariner. I wish that they would do a smaller glide lock system on all of their watches that are on a Oyster bracelet. What I'm talking about would be maybe half the size of the system that's on the Submariner. On that system, it increments in 2mm of adjustment per position, and I think there's 10 positions. Just do a 5 position. 2mm, 5 possible places where you can adjust it in and out. That's all I'm asking for. I think that that would be absolutely perfect for watches like the Explorer. And yeah, they didn't do it here, unfortunately. That's a little disappointing, but I still want this watch. Next up, we have the Explorer II, and we all knew this watch was coming. If you weren't paying attention, maybe you didn't know, but last week sometime they did a little sneak peek or teaser video, and it was very obvious that the Explorer II was the watch that they were teasing there. Now, in taking a look at this watch, what do we have that's new? Honestly, not a whole heck of a lot. I mean, it looks pretty much just like the prior generation Explorer. Of course, it has the new movement. It's a 3285 movement, and like I said, all Rolex watches, if they haven't already, are going to be upgraded to a 3200 series movement. That was expected. It's 42mm in case diameter, which is the same as the prior generation, but they claim that it's been reprofiled. The dial has maybe been tweaked slightly in a couple of ways, but if you're looking at them side by side, at least in pictures, I really don't see much of a difference between this and the prior generation. So if you weren't interested in it before, I don't imagine you're going to be suddenly interested in it now. Of course, it does come in the white and the black dial variations, and one thing that everyone was calling for, and I honestly didn't think it would happen, I don't think it's ever gonna happen, was a ceramic bezel, probably in black. They did not do that, and everyone said, oh, this is the year they're gonna do the ceramic bezel, you know, when they did the teaser. That was what everyone thought the big new selling point of the Explorer II was gonna be. I didn't think that would happen. Obviously, it did not happen. It's virtually the same watch with a new movement, very small, subtle tweaks that, you know, nobody's really, I think, gonna, again, want to get it suddenly now when they didn't want to get it before. But that's okay, because probably like the 36mm Explorer and, of course, every Rolex sports watch, you can't get it if you want to anyway, so you won't be disappointed. That said, yeah, it's a cool watch. I like it. And I don't know, I guess it's just a little bit underwhelming to be their kind of flagship release this year, considering it's not a whole lot new there. But it's cool. And yeah, some people are going to be happy with it. Next up, they did a bunch of new dials for the DateJust and something for the Daytona. Now, these dials on the DateJust, they're calling them palm dials, and if you take a look at them, I'll throw pictures up here, obviously, like I've been doing for the other watches. Yeah, they have like this kind of like leafy palm tree motif, if you will. I mean, personally, I don't dig it. I don't know who these are for. They're very, I don't know, feminine, kind of? Like, is it a woman's watch? They're on the 36mm DateJust, and I suppose a 36mm DateJust could be a lady's model. You know, historically, it's still a gentleman's watch. I don't know, too many guys are going to want palm leaf dial patterns on their watches, but it is what it is. There's 3 or 4 of them, and yeah, frankly, they do nothing for me. I'm going to be honest with you guys. That said, I'm, you know, just kind of reporting on what they've announced as their new releases, and there you go, new DateJusts. Along those lines, with new dials, we have a meteorite dial for the Daytona. It looks pretty cool. Not a huge fan of meteorite dials in general, personally, but I could see where some people would like this dial, and I'm sure that it will not be as popular as the standard stainless steel DateJust with, you know, the white dial or even the black dial. But yeah, if you could get your hands on a meteorite dial Daytona and you like Daytonas, you like those dials, I'm sure you're going to be happy with this one. Last but not least, we have a new ladies DateJust, and it is just plastered with diamonds. I mean, it is just wall-to-wall diamonds. You know, I don't have too many female viewers here on the channel, so I'm not going to spend too much time on this watch, but if you got a lady friend, a wife, girlfriend, mother, sister, daughter, whatever you want to get a just blinged out watch for, this is going to be the one to take a look at, apparently. No idea what the prices are going to be on this thing in, you know, solid yellow gold with all those diamonds. I'm expecting it's going to be way up there. Looks kind of cool, I guess, if you like that just totally iced out look. Not my personal taste, obviously. I'm pretty plain Jane when it comes to watches, but it is their new lady DateJust model with diamonds, and it's not terrible. Next up, we're going to talk about Tudor. And what did Tudor do this year? What do you think? Black Bay, Black Bay, Black Bay. That's right, lots of new Black Bay, same thing every year. I was kind of hoping that Tudor would do, I don't know, something new. And yeah, they have some quote-unquote new watches here. But again, they're just new variations of the Black Bay. It's a model that I like. I don't love the Black Bay, but I like it. I think a lot of people really do like it. There's going to be some people that are going to be excited about these watches, I guess. In particular, the first one, the Black Bay Chrono in Panda dials, both regular Panda and reverse Panda. Yeah, it looks really good, honestly. I like it. Other than the fact to say that I don't like the snowflake hands at all. Never have. So that's a big negative for me personally. Subjective taste. It is what it is. Lots of people do like the snowflake hands. I'm not one of them. The dial, though, is really cool, and if anything could convince me to buy a Black Bay Chrono, it might be one of these two dials. The white Panda dial looks really great, actually. They do claim that this watch is, you know, the thinnest Black Bay yet, I think is the way they phrased it, and if I'm not mistaken, it's still like 14 millimeters, so it's not really thin. I guess it's thinner. Yeah, but certainly not a thin watch. That said, chronographs generally aren't very thin, so it's not like I was expecting it, but to kind of use that in your marketing or advertising to, to claim like, oh, it's a thinner watch, but it's certainly not thin by any stretch of the imagination. It's a little funny. That said, yeah, it's a cool watch. I like it. And like I said, if anything could convince me to get a Black Bay, it would be one of these, but I just can't live with those snowflake hands, personally. It's not for me. Next up, we have the Tudor Black Bay 58 and two new versions of it. I think they're both cool, actually. Again, except for the snowflake hands. But we have the 18 karat gold model, which I think is a new thing for Tudor. Have they ever done a gold watch, period? I thought they were always just purely stainless steel. I might be wrong on that. Somebody will correct me down in the comments if they have done gold watches, solid gold watches, not just two-tone. But I don't recall them ever doing a gold. And then they have the Black Bay 58 925. And why is it called 925? It's because it's 925 sterling silver, which I think is kind of weird, but kind of awesome. I'm a big fan of sterling silver. I don't know, I like it. Something about silver just appeals to me. I wouldn't say that I collect or I hoard silver, but I got a little bit of silver in terms of coins, for investment or whatever. Silver jewelry, I prefer that to gold generally, not only because the price is lower, but it's just something about the way it looks. I don't know. So I think it's really cool, but why is it weird? Well, sterling silver scratches so easily. It's unbelievable. Like my ring is actually sterling silver, and I have to break it out and polish it with the the little polishing cloths every so often. Maybe I do it once a year or whatever. But the difference between when I polish it, before and after, is just striking. This this ring gets so scratched up. It gets really hazy. It loses all of its luster, like almost overnight. So again, a weird choice in that they're gonna do something like a watch that gets so used and sometimes abused in that metal. Yeah, I'm not sure if I want to spend, what are they asking for that watch? I think the price was $4,000, $4,500, something like that. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's not cheap. And it's gonna look beat up pretty quickly, except that they say it's some sort of new, how did they phrase it? Like super silver alloy. I don't know what they did to this supposed super silver alloy. If it's still 925, it's 925 sterling silver. So, what else could they have put into it that's gonna make it like really scratch resistant? And to that point, I think that their marketing message was really more along the lines of it being more easily polished to a super high luster. I think that was kind of the claim as to what this new type of sterling silver is that they're using, and not necessarily that it is in fact any more scratch resistant. My feelings are it's going to get beat up pretty badly if you own this watch. That said, I think it's really cool because I like silver a lot. So we'll see. Again, to go back to the 18 karat gold, I'm not a solid gold dive watch guy, so this definitely isn't a model for me. But if this is in fact their first gold Black Bay, it's pretty cool. They're always kind of thought of as being the more affordable luxury watch, if you will. So to go to 18 karat gold, it is a little curious. I don't know. I don't have a problem with it though. I think that there's some people that want that, and they're going to be happy with it. So, it is what it is. Other things that Tudor announced, a new model of the Black Bay, the 36 and the 41. Silver dial, really nothing significant there, but I think that was on their list of new watches as well. I guess that's cool. Just another Black Bay watch. Like I said, you get a Black Bay, you get a Black Bay, you get a Black Bay. Everybody gets a Black Bay. And they had one other watch on there. It was like their, I didn't write it down on my notes here, and I didn't copy the picture, so I don't have it available. It's their, the models series, it's like the 1926 or something. To be honest with you, I didn't even really click on it and look at it. I didn't really care, to be fair. It's not something that interests me at all. But that's basically it. Not much else from Tudor. Black Bays, Black Bays, Black Bays. We pretty much knew that was coming. All right, guys, there you have it. My thoughts on the new releases from Rolex and Tudor. Some cool watches. Definitely a very cool watch from Rolex, in my opinion. It's not going to appeal to very many people, I don't think, but the 36mm Explorer is one that is definitely high on my list of watches to get my hands on. I have been calling for that watch for years. Ever since I had a 39mm Explorer, and it just didn't jive with me. I always said, I wish they would do a new 36, and finally, they have. Unfortunately, I will never be able to get my hands on it, even though I don't think it's gonna be that appealing to a wide range of people. I think it's still gonna be hard to get. It's just the way Rolex does business, unfortunately. But in a year or two, if I can get one, I definitely will. The Tudor Black Bay Panda Chrono's pretty cool. Again, not a huge fan of those watches in general, but good on them on, making a really nice dial. And yeah, I wouldn't buy it myself, but I see the appeal. I think that they're going in the right direction. If only they would give me an option for something other than snowflake hands, because they just don't do it for me. All right, guys, well, that'll wrap this one up for today. Hope you enjoyed the video. As always, thanks for tuning in. If you want to help me out, check out the description of this video for ways that you can support the channel. And of course, subscribe, hit the notification bell icon thingy so that you don't miss any of my videos in the future. With that said, I'm gonna wrap this one up for today, sign off, and say bye now.